Here we go. Yeah, this your boy Charles Gregory, the beautiful.
Lauren Sizzle.
And we got the beautiful.
What's up, y'all? Classy Lady Sparkle.
Classy Lady Sparkle is definitely in the building. What's up, Spark? How you?
I'm good. I'm loving this weather, y'all. I can't wait to reach 90.
Yeah, no doubt.
You won't have to wait long.
No doubt. We even got Lady Esther in the building. What's good, Lady Esther?
I'm good. How's everybody out there tonight?
Whoa.
Be a little under the weather.
Just a little bit. Everybody hype about this weather. Got me down. Got me under the weather.
Yeah, I can. The weather. The way that it feels right now. I always say it can stay like this all year round, and I'll be alright with that.
Yeah, like 80 degrees
Definitely
all year long.
All right.
Yes.
It's just one of those things, man. So, we got a dynamic show today. I like to talk about educating the people, man, and giving little tidbits. So we got a special guest that's coming around, one of my favorite segments of the show. We also have some good news, little good news, bad news.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, brighten y'all day a little bit.
We got the Sizzle that's going to be popping today.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We got a little love and relationships.
We got a little bit.
Boring.
Well, you're going to wake up on this one. You're not going to be bored on this one.
No doubt. I hear what she's saying. I hear how it be, but how it be ain't how it is. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to the Sixers.
Shout out to the Sixers, man.
Especially.
But they
I was a little
they
disappointed.
in the playoffs. That's what I'm talking about.
They trust the process.
They trust the process, right?
Yes.
They only one down, right?
Yeah, they down one. They down one in this
Celtics.
They gotta wake up, though.
Yeah, they gotta wake up.
You only get this far and they start sleeping.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know what was funny?
Yeah.
I was watching, I believe it was Sports Center, and they had Charles Barkley on there talking about, his when he was on the Sixers. And they started fighting the Celtics, right? And
the history of the beef.
Yeah, the history of the beef.
Yes.
Philly and the Celtics, man. I think that's going to be a good thing. I wouldn't be surprised if a fight break off.
Oh no, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Hopefully it don't.
Yeah. But shout out to them though, because I like how when Meek was released, they brought him, gripped him up, brought him right to the game, let him ring the bell and all that. I like
gripped
that.
him up. He went running there.
He's a fresh
I'm so tired of all this Meek crap.
No doubt. So what we got coming up, Lady S. Dot, man?
Well, we want to talk good news, bad news first, or y'all want to hear some music first? What y'all want to do?
We want some music.
You want some music first? Well, we got Nicki Minaj, Camari coming up for y'all right now.
No doubt. So I don't want y'all to go nowhere. This is WPPM, Philadelphia, 106.5 FM. Your boy Charles Gregory with the beautiful
Lauren Sizzle
and the beautiful.
Classy Lady Sparkle.
And we'll be right back after this. Hallelujah. What's up, y'all? This your boy Charles Gregory with the beautiful
Lauren Sizzle
and the beautiful.
Classy Lady Sparkle.
And right now we got good news and bad news. Boing! Holla at me, girl. Holla.
All right, well, I'm going to give y'all the good news because the bad news is bad, but I want it to sink into y'all mind.
Okay.
So I want y'all to walk away with something. So the good news is, do y'all know who James Shaw Jr. is?
No.
James Shaw, yeah, I ain't even going to act like
All
that.
right, well, some would describe him as a hero. James Shaw Jr. tackled a raging gunman who killed 4 people at the Nashville, Tennessee Waffle House.
I did hear about him.
That's his
okay.
name.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, James
Yes.
Shaw Jr.
Yes.
was eating at the Waffle House when 29-year-old naked Travis Rankin started shooting customers with an AR-15 outside the restaurant about 3 a.m.
Crazy.
Yeah, wow. Like 3:30 a.m. in the morning, here's a naked man running into the Waffle House with an automatic gun.
Unbelievable.
So,
It's fine.
Wow.
He was naked, so he gonna get off on insanity.
yeah.
Yes.
So Shaw was in the Waffle
He was white
House.
naked.
Shaw was in Caucasian man, and Shaw is a African American, which I'm just putting that factual information out there.
Yes.
Shaw hid near a bathroom and watched Rankin as he was in there with the AK-47. So when Rankin looked down to reload his gun, Shaw wrestled the AR-15 away from the madman. After wrestling the gun from Rankin, Shaw threw it over the counter. The gun's hot metal seared Shaw's skin and burned him. He pushed Rankin outside of the restaurant and then ran out of harm's way. So when he pushed him out of the restaurant, Rankin ran off. Shaw said, I was doing it just to save myself. He said, my doing that did save other people, but I don't want people to think that I was like the Terminator or Superman or anything like that. So on some humbleness, he did it in survival, but he also saved other people's lives.
Right.
Right? So he said, I thought I could possibly never see my daughter again, said Shaw, thinking of his four-year-old daughter. The suspect was reportedly well known to authorities. Now, we're talking about the madman, Ranking. I don't even want to say his name to give any type of, So anyway, they said that he has a history of mental illness, which I just said. In 2017, the Secret Services arrested him for being in a secure area near the White House. All of Ranking's guns were taken from him and given to his father. Authorities believe that Ranking's father gave him all the guns back. Is that crazy? They took the guns and he gave them back. CEO of the Waffle House, Elmer, says that you don't get to meet heroes like this every day. And it was 4 people who were killed, and it was 2 that were injured. So Shaw raised $165,000 through a GoFundMe for the victims' funerals and the surviving victims.
Amazing.
Is that crazy?
Amazing.
So it's good news, bad news in a way, but good news that we had a hero that it could have been more people.
Exactly.
Because that man was not stopping.
Yes.
Like, you hide behind the bathroom stall. So, anyway, that was the good news. The bad news, this is something that I really want y'all to think about, and this affects all of us. Like, this subject hits close to home with me. I don't know about y'all, because I have family members and friends who have been plagued by this, what they now call a disease. Many of you have seen the commercials, you've seen the resource centers, and now they got support groups. It's the opioid epidemic.
Yes.
Although there's no race, creed, gender, or economic status for those affected, I'm just saying that wasn't the case in the 80s.
No, because this is nothing new. The epidemic part of it is.
It wasn't no title on it before. Now, it's now affected the suburbs and the ghettos equally.
Exactly.
So those are, as we watch the epidemics unfold, deaths are now being caused by opioid overdose, which they say will rise before they fall. Data released by the CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, show that emergency room visits for suspected opioid overdose increased by 30% between July of 2016 and September of 2017. The emergency room visits rising were 108% in Wisconsin, 80% here in Pennsylvania, and 65% in Illinois. Indiana and Ohio has also experienced substantial growth in overdose for treatments. The extremely sad part of this is certain kind of opioids are growing in popularity. For instance, the overdose deaths are from the dangerous synthetic opioid known as fentanyl. Anybody ever hear that one?
Yes.
Sad, right?
Yes.
So from 2015 to 2016, according to the CDC, that drug is what's going to plague a lot of the younger people that are now, growing up in this millennial generation. So my questions to y'all are just throw it out there. What can we do to stop this? All these resources, all this technology, what can we do? Is it pharmaceuticals? Right. Is it the doctors giving it for when you just say, hey, I'm having anxiety, I have mental illness, such as the Shaw thing, like, this is what people, get caught on. You go through you're a football player, you get hurt, they give you opioids. I think Kanye was just on a rant about that. He just was giving opioids for his mental breakdown. But then you become addicted to it.
You become addicted to it, right?
That's not even curing it. But they asking, why are these numbers the way they are? So that one I gave bad news just so that people could walk away thinking about it.
Yeah.
There you go. No doubt. That was classy lady Sparkle. Good news, bad news. See, that's why I like the good news. That's why I like the good news, bad news section. It's kind of one of those things where you can kind of get, the good and the bad.
You gotta take the good with the bad.
You gotta take the good with the bad. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that is. So what we got next? We got the who?
We got the Sizzle. Yes, sir. So, member of the Three Amigos rap group, Migos, Quavo. So he's caught up in another altercation and subsequently charged with battery. So according to Double XL, the group, they were performing in Vegas. So following the performance, they headed over to the Encore Hotel and Casino. So their entourage, they're driving, they pull up to the hotel, and they have like a gang of SUVs. So the valet comes out and they are like, look, you have to move your car because an ambulance is about to arrive. So apparently, words were exchanged with Quavo and the valet. And, to kind of set Quavo off for some apparent reason. And him and three members of his entourage got into a scuffle with Valet. So the hotel security came. They detained them up until the police could arrive. And they weren't arrested, but they were cited on location for that incident. Cardi B was there, Offset, Takeoff. They were also present, but they were not involved in this altercation. Exactly. So, Quavo, he was involved in another incident back in January 2000, in the beginning of this year, 2018. So apparently he assaulted Eric the Jeweler at the Grammys after party. Yeah, they reportedly got into some type of disagreement while they were at the after party. Apparently Eric the Jeweler said that Quavo owes him money, and then, words were exchanged or whatever, and then Quavo and another guy from his entourage there jumped him. So Eric the Jeweler left and noticed that his, $30,000 chain was missing, so he filed a robbery report with the police. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, when do you get to a point or a certain status where you're not going to get involved in certain altercations or whatever?
Right.
Like, what? I don't know.
I got a question.
You're Mark.
I think if you're a ninja, once a ninja, always a ninja. You still have some ninja ways
The
about
mentality.
But it's
It's
like seeing a luxury car and you jump in front of it just because you think that they got money. That's how they got to look at themselves. People want to pick because you got money.
Yes, then you become a
case.
target. Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta let stuff go. Like with the valet, though. The valet, like for real,
funny,
you gotta pick and choose your battles. I'm just saying.
You know what? I also believe that he has this pressure of feeling that he's not really about that life. So he has to continue to try to prove that he's about that life.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah. And I think that, the whole Migos is plagued with that, from the Joe Budden situation to a couple other situations.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
When you really ain't that, you really ain't about that life. Real recognize real all day.
All day,
so people gonna test you. People test gorillas.
Right.
So if they know that you ain't, they gonna test you.
Right.
How come anybody tell me that Migos and Offset was the same person?
Migos and
Oh, he's in
That's the group.
That's the group.
Migos is the
It's
group.
the three of them.
Yeah.
It's
Offset
Offset,
is
Takeoff,
one of-
and Quavo.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Offset is the one that's with Cardi B.
because I was confused.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, is this
Three
one
amigos.
person?
Trying to understand them, right?
exactly.
Yeah. So it's a group.
It's a group.
Yeah.
Yeah. Migos is the group.
Migos is a group. I didn't know that. I thought
Yeah,
Migos was
it's
one dude.
Yeah. That
That
was his song. Remember that? I'm gonna fight you.
Yo, real,
Yeah.
let me
Keep
tell you.
referencing these two
I know,
names
man.
like it's the same.
Yeah, because I think
Right.
Offset is probably the one that gets the most
Yeah.
publicity. I
Well,
guess.
yeah.
Yeah. But that's a good thing you said. Like as a rapper, do you have to live up? Like, cause there's some people that don't live their raps.
It ain't about that
So
thing.
when you talking about you
Not at
bussing and this, that, and the other, do you have to live up to that when you in the streets? But you really not bussing.
unless you get people to certify you.
You the one ducking.
When
You
you
not
in the
bussing.
street,
You ducking.
People certify you. They
Oh, yeah,
you got
definitely.
people like Mano and even 50 and a couple people. They certify people like they really about that. You know what I'm
But if
saying?
you think about it, Rick Ross had the same kind of
Yes, the CO.
the same kind of
Right.
stigma around him when he first came out. It was like,
Mhm.
you was a cop. Now you talking about all this stuff. Which one
Yeah,
was you?
exactly.
Was you the cop or was you the hustler? You confused everybody.
Right,
So people didn't
exactly.
really know which way to go with.
Yes.
Mhm.
hmm So Khalees, she did an interview with Hollywood Unlocked where she comes out and she says that she was physically and mentally abused by ex-husband rapper Nas. So she mentioned that
Bring the little boys to the yard.
Yes, for those of you who don't know who Khalees is,
I'm so crazy right now.
she had a couple hits back in 2003. Yeah, Milkshake was one of them.
She doesn't get a pass for me.
Yes.
Yo,
yes.
I think she's certifiable.
But she talks about in the interview, like she doesn't know why people think she's crazy.
You think?
Mm-hmm. I heard her also say that she probably fought him back. Like,
yeah, she did say that.
Really, like he did.
Yeah,
like, she initiated it. So
yeah, because she was. I mean, leave it to her. She was just mainly kind of putting it on him, but she did say, that she didn't. She was like, he hit me, I hit him. I didn't just sit there. She was like, he would drink and then black out, and then they would fight. He was like, I don't just sit there. And then she was like basically saying that the relationship was toxic. He cheated on her for 2 years. And, Rihanna's domestic incident, the abuse situation with her and Chris Brown, the pictures that were all on the internet of Rihanna's face, she was looking at herself and like, wow, just like embarrassed that, she was going through this. So
it's never cool to put your hands on.
No, exactly.
It's not cool to put your hand on anybody. Period.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that.
I
That's why she's not just going to sit there and,
Yeah.
I hit
Right.
him too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because she got Jody. Because she's probably jumping all over him all crazy.
And you know what? And I just want for the record, I just want to make sure that we stay clear with that because a lot of women got sons,
Yes, they do.
and I have seen a lot of little boys because they're taught don't touch nobody else, especially a girl, get pummeled by little
Absolutely.
girls.
Yeah, I have
Because
seen
they don't
that.
want to hit back, and of
Right.
course, just teach, don't touch.
Right.
You don't
Right,
touch, you won't be
right.
touched. Period.
Because it is some women out there, they put their hands on a man.
Yep.
Then you gotta, if you big and bad enough to put your hands on a man, you gotta expect to get hit, with the same force. Like, because a man is stronger. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that is right.
Whoopi
But
said that. She was like, if a woman put her hands on her son, she wants him to hit her back.
Absolutely.
So
Don't touch. Just don't touch at all. You don't.
Exactly.
I believe that you can have a heated debate without touching each other. If y'all in a relationship, you can have a heated debate. You don't have to touch.
right,
Exactly.
right,
My
my mother used to
exactly.
say, when you argue, get naked.
You'll stop arguing after that
I got a rule. I got boxing gloves.
one. I know
Get yours,
that.
I'm gonna get mine. Get naked.
Exactly. Yes.
Right.
Exactly. That's crazy. But Nas hasn't addressed the allegations or anything at this point. That was, a couple days ago that she said that. But he did post a picture on his Instagram where he's like posting a picture of him and his son. And he was like, this is what it's all about. Pure peace, pure happiness, and
He already probably know her. He was like, I ain't even gonna get into that.
Yeah. And then they done had this long custody battle.
Yeah.
What's next?
When you deal with
Anyway.
somebody that long, y'all know each other.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so over
exactly.
Khalees, man.
Yeah, and then in the
It's
interview,
been too
she
long, man.
right.
It's too much, and I feel like she just want the attention, man.
I think so because she's like a chef now, and she has something coming out. Maybe that's what
book.
people do when they got something coming out. They.
She gotta promote her burgers.
Yeah.
Them steaks that she need to fly. She gotta promote them Jones.
Yeah. So finally, we're gonna move on to Kanye West. The internet.
Oh, man. What
The
he do?
internet is destroying
Oh,
Kanye
my
West
God.
with these Trump memes.
Wait,
Oh
did
my
y'all
goodness.
see the one with the
The cologne.
With the breastfeed, the one.
the breastfeeding?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Did you see the kitten play one?
No.
Yeah, I think I did see that one. He was kid, right? And then
Oh my God.
Trump was
Why
playing.
don't you
Wait,
share
no,
some of them on our Facebook?
Trump was playing. He was
Some of them memes.
wait. Trump was
That's something too.
kid. Y'all know what
I
I'm
was
saying.
dying.
Yes.
So you can see a lot of those memes. Classy Lady Sparkle will share them on our Facebook. Make sure you go to our Facebook.
Yes,
Talk
you
about it.
can't miss it. You can't miss
no
it.
doubt
But
about
but anyway, he goes on TMZ, the newsroom, and he's on this crazy rant. He's talking about how how Sparkle said he got addicted to the opioids after he had liposuction surgery, and then he was like, I got liposuction because I don't want to be called fat. And the media, he basically put that on the media because he was like you call Rob, you call Rob fat. So, he had his little issues or whatever. And then, he just went on and on and on and on. And then he was talking about he was taking so many painkillers that it led to his breakdown, and he was hospitalized in 2016. Then he started taking more pills on his Pablo tour. And then did anybody hear about the Daz Dillinger when he issued the Crip Alert? Because he was talking about, like, how he's been talking about Trump, and then he's talking about, I guess, supporting Trump and all that. So then Daz, he does this this video, and he's like sent out this alert to all Crips that to F Kanye up on site.
That ain't right.
Yes, yes.
Like it's really getting to that point where they really
he was just that mad. Yeah, he was that mad. He was that mad. And then he was also on there talking about slavery being 400 years and like, 400 years. That sounds like a choice.
And then I think one of the TMZ correspondents basically clapped back, and he ran over to him at the end of his debate and was
very
like,
intelligent
I'm
response.
sorry, man. Yeah,
because he was saying he was very offended, and he was just like, I don't know what you morphed into, and he was just very upset, and he was very upset.
You know what? Can you share that on our page, the Facebook, so they can see that? All our friends see that?
Yeah.
No doubt, because they need to see that. I think it was a very intelligent response, man. I think that it's hard because one side of me want to say Kanye is cuckoo, right? But I believe he's a genius. But the other side of me says
most geniuses are cuckoo.
Yeah, they are.
That's my point, right? But a lot of what he says makes a lot of sense. That a lot of people are scared to admit to because the stigma of you agreeing with that crazy. Listen,
right?
I listened to. What?
I said the same thing about Cat Williams.
Listen, man.
Yeah.
It's truth. It's truth beyond the crazy. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna just say that.
Right. And
they're trying to make they want everybody to think they're crazy because they don't want to believe what they're saying.
Right.
You know what Chappelle said? He was like, "You think they crazy for nothing?" With Mariah Carey, and I think he was talking about Cat. He was like, "They not crazy." He's like, "You marking crazy after they tell you the truth." So
right. Yeah, and I don't want to, kind of give TMZ any shine anyway, because somebody want to come for my neck and say, I'm basically talking about TMZ all the time. But that's a whole other discussion for another time. But
we gotta talk about that.
Go to TMZ, and if you want to see the Kanye, his rant and his craziness, go to TMZ, and they got that video.
Like they posted us.
I know that's right.
Yeah. But I just don't. I mean, at this particular moment, I don't want to kind of give them no shine because somebody want to say I'm always talking about TMZ, but I'm just leave that alone. Because then I'm going to go off on my own little crazy rant. So I'm going to just leave that right on alone. That was the Sizzle.
And that's the Sizzle, ladies and gentlemen. And check this out. I don't want you guys to go nowhere. This is We Talk Weeklies. After the talk with your boy Charles Gregory and the beautiful
Lauren Sizzle.
And the beautiful.
And
we'll be right back after this, y'all. Hello.
I should have said we give them homage, but they don't do the same. That's what it is.
Exactly. They take a lot of people's stuff, though.
And y'all watched the interview with Charlamagne?
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of it. Yeah.
Because I refuse to believe your mother.
Yeah, that probably would have been a whole discussion by itself.
Yeah. And it got awkwardly quiet, but in a good way. You know what I'm saying? I read in one of the comments that
Charlamagne's gonna be in the room.
Oprah. Because he coming with a real
right.
He really did.
He gonna be the new Oprah. He gonna be the new Wendy Williams.
He don't come in. She don't have no tact. She's not tactful though.
But there's a difference. Charlamagne shows his consciousness.
Yeah, and it's empathy. Whereas though she shows none.
See it because he does troll.
Yeah.
He does troll.
He's getting better though. I feel like he's getting better.
She is. Although she 40.
She did it.
It depends on who you're talking to.
That's true.
He wasn't empathetic with Lil Mama.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That was so funny.
He got all these cameras. I just got a new camera. I started to bring it with me.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I got my phone and my iPad. But you got two phones.
That's really good. Where you at? So sit that far, just turn around. Stay where you were.
And so I started to bring my other camera, but you got 2 phones and 2 cameras. That's hype.
And we recording on the computer, on 2 computers. Audience.
Wow. So one's the backup for the other one?
We use all of them on different places. That's live. That's live streaming out somewhere.
Gotcha.
She's on what do you want?
What? Oh. I'm on Spreaker.
Oh, you're on Spreaker.
I try to.
It's your boy Charles Gregory, the beautiful
Lauren Sizzle.
Check this out, y'all. We got a dynamic interview. Someone whom I have a tremendous amount of respect for, man. Good friend of mine. Who we got today, Sizzle? Who we got today?
So we have friend to the show, Mr. Camari Ellis. He's an investment and tax advisor with over 20 years of experience in the financial services industry. So he is a Black wealth advocate, TU alum.
TU.
Yes, TU always in the building. Always in the building. He majored in finance and he loves everything that is business, stock market, and social media related. Welcome to the show, Camari Ellis.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the show, my brother. Welcome to the show, man. So, you know what? We're going to jump right into it, man, because, you know, I'm going to dedicate the last 20 minutes of this show to you.
Yeah.
First thing, you know, I'm going to jump into pretty much what you do, and I just want to commend you because you got a lot of outlet, a lot of kind of like supporting some of the things that you've been doing, man, you know, but not only from, you know, you educating with, you know, your financial freedom, right, and financial literacy, you know, but also kind of like, you know, the real political views that you jump into, and we're going to try to address some of them things, man, you know, especially as it relate to our people. Right.
Oh boy.
I know, right?
So I better strap up.
All day, right? And so let's jump right into like what got you into you know, being focused on just kind of like financial literacy and just monies, you know?
It all starts with our people.
Right.
At one point I believed that money was our biggest problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that anymore.
Okay.
But I'm still fascinated in the business. I'm still fascinated in the stock market. I'm fascinated with all things business because I feel it's like an art to a certain regards.
Right.
I mean, when you look at a guy like Elon Musk or even Facebook, Zuckerberg, what they did was create art. You know, they took an idea and they manifested it and made it real. Now, there's a whole lot of in-betweens and ups and downs and that, and some shadiness, you know, too. But at the end of the day, it still came to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So okay. So think about you know, when you're talking about you know, people, especially our people being scared, right? Because a lot of them, you know, you hear this all the time. People are scared to invest. Especially like Black people, you know what I'm saying? I'd say our people, you know what I'm saying? But it seems that we're scared to invest, scared to, you know, put that extra money into something that might help us in the long run. You know what I mean? So why do you think that is?
There's a lot of reasons.
Okay.
I got about 5,000. Right? So every day, so part of the reason why I call myself the financial rebel, right, is because I feel like we have to rebel against the traditional finance and economic system that we're in to a certain degree. Mm-hmm. So about every day, 5,000 ads are pumped into the brains of people in the United States. Mm-hmm. And so we're always given this message that we have to spend. Right. And then when you add that on top of the history, the convoluted and politically ravaged history of Black people in this country, it creates even more havoc. Mm. And so part of the reason why Black people don't like to invest is because inherently, most of us don't have a trust in the systems in this country, or really around the world, but we're talking about this country. Right. We have a lack of trust in for the most part. Mm. And so that's why it becomes really hard to get people to invest, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And we like things that we can touch. You know, we love real estate, but, you know, one of the biggest wealth creation tools that have ever existed is the stock market, and we tend to shy away from it.
Mm-hmm. Do you think we admittedly, I believe that sometimes I believe we have a reason to. Sometimes, I mean, if you talk about generational wealth, right, we don't necessarily have that, right? In historically, we don't
from a financial
right.
Yeah.
And so if you hear all of these. I guess it has a lot to do with the lack of how can I put it, like information regarding the stock market. But if you believe, or if you hear that, if you put this nice, nest egg in the stocks and you could potentially lose everything, you don't think they have a little kind of like reason to be nervous about that? Huh?
Well, I study the markets, heavy. So, I'm biased, admittedly. So usually every time there's a major crash or correction, it bounces back. But at the same time, you could say the same thing about the real estate market. Before 2008, everybody said real estate's safe. It's never going to go down. They're not making any more real estate. They're not making any more land. And what happened? They got mollywopped. They got smacked and then fell off the cliff. So it's any asset that has people involved can go up and down in price. And I like them all. I like real estate. I like stock. My friends make fun of me because they say I don't like real estate. And it's not that. I tell people I'm lazy. I don't want to do a whole bunch of work because I managed real estate before, and it can be very difficult.
Yeah, I'm sure. Now let's jump right into, that the fact that we talk about banking black, right? That has been a huge discussion lately, like banking black, and especially when that big situation happened. And everybody you need to put your money and invest into like a black bank. What was your thoughts on that? Because you had some really interesting thoughts on that.
So it's hard for me, right? Because all the stuff they say you should do is stuff I've been doing.
Right.
So shout out to United Bank, which is the bank here in Philadelphia, which is the black-owned bank started by Emma Chappelle many, many years ago. It's still in existence now.
Right.
But I do stuff with that bank. I've had events at that bank. I send customers and advocate for that bank because a lot of people still don't know that there is a black bank in Philadelphia.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And so when you read the newspapers and you see Wells Fargo this and all these other companies doing that with live day redlining, and I don't want to go too back in redlining because I know we ain't got that much time.
Right.
But that's something that they use to basically keep black people down from a government standpoint, and it's still going on to this day. So at least if you go to a black bank, you have a better chance of getting favorable interest rates and actually getting a loan.
Right.
Banks are actually the cornerstone of any productive community. Anybody that's doing something major financially in this company has some kind of bank. Koreans, Jews, some kind of credit unions with the Italians. It's across the board. We all have banks, or they all have banks.
Interesting.
So it's definitely very important, and it's important because again, not to bore everybody, but the way the Federal Reserve is set up, you can put $1 million in the bank, but you don't necessarily, you can get more back from the Federal Reserve, which gives the banks more power to lend. So that's more economic power that comes back into our communities.
Interesting. So what would you tell a community of people of color to start investing back in the community? How should they start that?
That's a hard one, right? But cash is always going to be king.
Right.
I see these memes running around talking about credit's better than cash, and I just want to pull all my hair out, and I don't have any more. Listen, cash is always going to be king, right? So the more cash we got, right, if everybody in this room pull together, put up $1 a piece every week for 5 years, we can take that money and go invest in a block. They got to buy back the block.
Right.
If you got cash, you can go do that. And that was just hypothetical, but there's so many things you can do with cash. So we can start pulling our cash, the better off we can be. We'll have the flexibility, and we won't be beholden to anybody to say, hey, I want to cut that credit line. But when you got your cash, they can't cut your cash. Your cash is your cash.
Interesting. I'm gonna stop right there and just back up a little bit because this just popped in my head. Let's jump in. Let's talk about Bitcoin real quick because you were talking about I know investments and
the Bitcoin. There's a Bitcoin hive, man. You won't have them after me. They already hate me.
That's funny because the funny thing is you had somebody like a Kanye West that was talking a lot about what you should invest in, and what he wished that he could have invested in, what I mean? And, a lot of it is about something that's free from, I guess, government control, and I think a lot of Bitcoin has that idea that it's independently ran. It's, run by the people, made by the people. The government can't get it. And so, what's your position on? Because you took a position, pretty much about the Bitcoin hive. So, what's your position or defense, should I say, when it comes to Bitcoin versus regular banking?
In terms of investing.
Yes.
So for the record, Bitcoin has kind of been bastardized a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. So Bitcoin started out as a way to pay people without government influence, and I get that. But now it's become an investment vehicle. People look at they're two different things. So now people are talking about Bitcoin as also a currency. Mm-hmm. And so in order to be a currency, it has to be a store of value, and it has to be openly accepted by a lot of people. You can't go around and buy Bitcoin or use Bitcoin to buy glasses like you have on the shirt that you have on here in Philadelphia. I mean, I'm sure there's some, but it's not widely accepted. Mm-hmm. So if it were me, I would put my money in cash. Now, I own like $20 in Bitcoin just as a test, just to look at it. Because you know me, we've been friends for years. And I talk trash and fun, right? And so I was telling everybody not to buy Bitcoin. And not because I hate Bitcoin, because the people that are asking to buy Bitcoin are not qualified to buy Bitcoin. So I'll get a question like,
what do you mean by that real quick?
I'm coming. I get questions all the time. So I do a segment called Ask Camari. People can ask me any financial question they want. So they say, Camari, I have $500 and I want to invest in Bitcoin. Okay, great. What's your savings look like? Well, I got some savings. I got plenty of savings. Can you stand 2 months without any salary, any pay? No, I cannot. Then you don't need to buy Bitcoin. So people don't have their priorities set up right, and they want to go buy Bitcoin.
That's deep.
And so even before the Bitcoin crash, right, because Bitcoin ran up to almost $20,000, and then now it's like $8,000 or $9,000. So and that's in a 2 to 3 month span. So can you really afford to have your money acting like a roller coaster at any point in time? You need your money. You got to buy bills. You got to do this and that. You need it for your kids. You can't afford the fluctuations that Bitcoin is experiencing right now. So I would say, to answer your question, put a stamp on it, I would invest my money in cash in the bank.
Right. So would you consider gold cash or gold?
Gold is gold, but some people look at gold too. Right. But gold is more established than Bitcoin, right? If you go anywhere, and I get razzled by what they call the gold bugs too, right? Because there are a lot of people that like gold. Here's a quick story for you. Had a guy had about $500,000 in his 401k, left his job, took the $500,000 out for gold. This was when gold was almost up to, what was it? This was 7 years ago. So almost about $5,000 an ounce. Took it out, got tax crazy, and then it went down. He lost all his money because that was fear. And what happens is you have all these salespeople, right? Stockbrokers are salespeople, right? Just keep that in mind. Financial planners are salespeople. Financial advisors are salespeople. And I'm throwing myself in that lot too. They're all salespeople. And some of them, not all salespeople are bad, but some of them only care about getting their commission. So they hype all these people up and they defraud them of their money at the end of the day. And nobody's thinking about that. Me, and I take the hit for this, right? I'm saying, hey, you're going to need this money, and the way the outcome is looking right now, it's not going to be that great. And so I'm choosing education, pure education, over getting a commission in my pocket.
Interesting, yeah. And I give you kudos for that because you do, and you've been educating for a long time. So I'm gonna fast forward. I'm gonna fast forward now because I just wanted to jump on that Bitcoin thing because that was a big deal and that was a huge conversation. Now, let's talk a little bit about boycotting, especially when in the Black community, and I think we spoke about that just a little bit. What's your take on, when they say that Black people should, boycott? When something happens, we should boycott. What's your, I want you to really dig a little deep into that because,
How much time we got?
About 10 minutes,
We gotta unpack that one.
5 minutes.
We gotta unpack that one.
Yeah.
So shout out to our ancestors and the elders who boycotted. It paved the way for a lot of things that we have credit for now. And I got to give a little context on this to do it justice. I've seen a lot of goofy posts and a lot of goofy memes about Dr. King this and Dr. King that. But people don't realize that Dr. King fought for us to have mobility, right? So we probably couldn't be in a building like this right now or use Facebook or use Instagram or travel around the globe if him and other people besides him didn't fight for that right? So now fast forward 50 years or whatever, how many years it is since he's passed, And now people are saying, well, don't boycott, don't protest. So I say there's a caveat to that. You do sometimes and sometimes you don't. But there should always be a plan. So when you look at Starbucks, when you look at H&M, when you look at Dove, all these corporate entities that just have been blatantly disrespecting us.
Yes.
I mean, you would think that our natural response would already be to support those who look like us and support our community anyway. But that's not the case. I'm a lifelong Dove user because I have sensitive skin.
Right.
But I had to make a choice. I'm going to go find other black soap makers who will cater to sensitive skin, and that's what I've done. And I said, all right, well, that runs over. So for me, it's not a boycott. It's a lifestyle change. It's a lifestyle change. Now, I'm not boycotting Starbucks, right? That was an isolated incident, in my opinion.
I would agree with that.
And I'm not trying to let Starbucks off the hook because their response was terrible. And that lady in that store has had numerous
complaints on her.
Right.
Yep.
But here's the thing. What we did to Starbucks didn't amount to anything. It didn't take away any of their sales. They're still an $87 billion company with a B, a capital B. How did any of that money come back to our communities? Right. So when we start moving and we start taking the bullhorn out and showing off for the videos and doing everything like that, who's really benefiting?
So what would be some of the solutions that you would propose?
Buy black every day. What I got on, all black every day. And I don't say that from a racist standpoint because black people can't be racist anyway, but I say that from a standpoint of empowerment. Every other community supports their own, except for ours. And we have the most problems. That's kind of ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been proven that a good book for everybody to read is a book called Our Black Year by Maggie Anderson. And she talks about her experiment to buy black all year long. I've interviewed Maggie, read her book, the whole 9, several times. She had a hard time. We're in Philly. Can we find a black supermarket? Can we find a black gas station?
Yeah.
I mean, so our options are also limited in that support as well, but those are things we should naturally have.
Right.
And then there are a lot of black-owned coffee shops. How many people actually go and support them?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And I salute you for like creating things, like the early birds where you endorse kind of, this is, going the buy black, like a buy black day or something like that. And I think I think most people get nervous and say, okay, well, black, quote unquote, air quotes, guys, black goods aren't as good as other goods.
Right.
And or the customer service isn't as good as other people's customer service, right?
Well, that's been disproved, right?
Right.
How many black businesses are calling the police on their customers? I mean, I'm sure it happens, but to this degree. So we had not only the Waffle House, we had Starbucks.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's been happening a lot lately because people are scared, people are afraid.
Right. So I'm gonna push you a little bit. So I want to know if people are supposed to, if we supposed to, I guess, buy black, invest black, bank black, is it logical to tell of people to, say, for example, pull all their money out of, say, for example, Wells Fargo, if they had a Wells Fargo account, and then invest into, like, a black bank? And then they go to somewhere like Italy or somewhere else and try to, draw funds and can't establish or do anything like that. Then what would you tell that? What's the workaround? Bitcoin? No. What's the workaround?
You can do both.
Okay.
Right. You can do both.
Right.
You can have a Wells Fargo account, but Wells Fargo just got smacked with that $1 billion fine. Personal disclosure. I have my personal accounts at Wells Fargo.
Right.
But you can do both. You can bank United Bank, or I think the other big one that's one of Riser's, United One, which is national online. You can do both. I mean, we still have to be pragmatic, right?
Right.
Like I've been to Starbucks thousands of times, right, and been treated well, right. And again, that's not an endorsement for Starbucks. I go there out of convenience. I go there out of because I can't get to Amalgam or Uncle Bobby's or Franny
Shout out to
Lou's
Uncle Bobby's.
or Franny Lou's or any of the other black-owned coffee shops in the city because they're not close to me.
So, would the lifestyle change be? You know what? I'm going to take the little extra block. I'm not going to catch the bus. I'm going to walk 5 or 6 blocks, or I'm going to carpool, or I'm going to do something like that. Because when we talk about our ancestors, right, that's kind of the things that they did. So how could we, really like buckle down and make some changes like that.
I think one thing everybody can do is find 5 friends that you trust.
Right.
Start pulling your money together.
That's the.
I don't care if it's $10. I don't care if it's $20, $30 a week or a month. Just start doing that. Don't even look to invest it yet. Just start putting it away, and you can go put it in United Bank. Now, United does have some minimums, but you get the point. You can start pulling it, even if you're putting it in their mattresses. Don't tell anybody about it.